a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Eddie the Eagle Edwards. Michael Edwards, known as Eddie the Eagle, is a British skier who in 1988 became the first competitor since 1928 to represent Great Britain in Olympic ski jumping, finishing last in the 70 meters and 90 meters events. He became the British ski jumping record holder, 9th in amateur speed skiing, and a stunt jumping world records holder for jumping over 6 buses. In 2016, he was portrayed by Taron Egerton in the biographical film Eddie the Eagle. Background: Edwards was born in Cheltenham, Gloucestershire. His family calls him by his given name, Michael. Eddie is a nickname derived by school friends from his surname. Having not made the grade as a downhill skier, he decided to switch to ski jumping as there were no other British ski jumpers with whom to compete for a place. Edwards began jumping under the eye of John Viscom and Chuck Berghorn in Lake Placid, New York, using Berghorn's equipment, although he had to wear 6 pairs of socks to make the boots fit. He was disadvantaged by his weight, at about 82 kilograms, more than 9 kilograms heavier than the next heaviest competitor, and by his lack of financial support for training, and by being totally self-funded. Another problem was that he was very far-sighted, wearing thick glasses under his goggles, which would mist up at altitude. Edwards was informed of his qualification for the Games while working as a plasterer and residing temporarily in a Finnish mental hospital due to lack of funds for alternative accommodation. He first represented Great Britain at the 1987 World Championships in Oberstdorf in Bavaria, West Germany, and was ranked 55th in the world. This performance qualified him as the sole British applicant for the 1988 Winter Olympics ski jumping competition. Edwards was the best ski jumper, albeit the only, in the United Kingdom, holding the British record of 73.5 meters in one of his Calgary jumps in 1988. 1988 Winter Olympics. During the 1988 Winter Olympics, Edwards competed in and finished last in both the 70 meters and 90 meters events. In the 70 meters, he scored 69.2 points from 2 jumps of 55 meters. Second last Bernat Zolapuyol of Spain scored 140.4 points from 71 meters and 68.5 meters jumps. Winner Matti Nykänen of Finland had 229.1 points from 89.5 meters jumps. In the 90 meters, Edwards scored 57.5 points from 71 meters and 67 meters jumps. Second last Todd Gilman of Canada had 110.8 points from 96 meters and 86.5 meters. Nykänen won again, with 224 points from 118.5 meters and 107 meters. From the beginning, the press version of his story was embroidered with falsehoods. They said I was afraid of heights, but I was doing 60 jumps a day then, which is hardly something someone who is afraid of heights would do. His lack of success endeared him to people around the globe. He subsequently became a media celebrity and appeared on talk shows around the world, appearing on The Tonight Show during the Games. The press nicknamed him Mr. Magoo, and one Italian journalist called him a ski dropper. At the closing ceremony, the president of the organizing committee, Frank King, singled out Edwards for his contribution. King said, "Looking at the competitors, you have broken world records and you have established personal bests. Some of you have even soared like an eagle." The Eddie the Eagle rule. The widespread attention that Edwards received in Calgary was embarrassing to some in the ski jumping establishment. In 1990, shortly after the Olympics finished, the entry requirements were strengthened in order to make it nearly impossible for anyone to follow his example. The International Olympic Committee instituted what became known as the Eddie the Eagle rule, which requires Olympic hopefuls to compete in international events and be placed in the top 30% or the top 50 competitors, whichever is fewer. Edwards failed to qualify for the 1992 Winter Olympics in Albertville, France, and the 1994 Games in Lillehammer, Norway. He got a 5-year sponsorship from Eagle Airlines, a small British charter company, to support his attempt to reach the 1998 Games in Nagano, Japan, but failed to qualify for those as well. Return to Calgary and other media appearances. On the 13th of February 2008, Edwards made a return visit to Calgary to take part in festivities marking the 20th anniversary of the Games. During his visit, he rode the zip line at Canada Olympic Park with a member of the Jamaican bobsled team, and led a procession of skiers down the slopes of the park while carrying an Olympic torch. Edwards was chosen as a torchbearer in the relay for the 2010 Vancouver Olympics. He ran with the torch on the 7th of January 2010 in Winnipeg. Edwards released a book called On the Piste. He recorded a song in Finnish entitled Mun nimeni on Niitu, though he does not speak Finnish. Later, he recorded another Finnish-language song, Edin Sävellä. Both of these songs were composed and written by popular Finnish artist Erwin Goodman. Edwards appeared in a number of advertising campaigns, and more on television, promoting cars, and commanded fees of £10,000 an hour. Nevertheless, he declared bankruptcy in 1992, claiming that a trust fund for his earnings was not set up properly. In 2003, he graduated from De Montfort University in Leicester with a degree in law. "I've been interested in law since taking out a civil action against my trustees 10 years ago," he said in a 2001 interview. In 2011, he returned to Planica in Slovenia and visited one of the biggest ski jumps in the world. For the first time, he brought his family with him under the ski slopes and made a promotion video. Eddie the Eagle lands in Slovenia, while visiting places such as Kranjska Gora, Lake Bled, Ljubljana, Postojna Caves, Lipica, Portorož, and Piran. The video was later posted on YouTube and many UK websites. Edwards described the visit to Slovenia as one of the family's nicest trips so far. On the 25th of February 2012, he appeared as a competitor on episode 2 of BBC One's Let's Dance for Sport Relief 2012 and got through to the final on most public votes. His performances were accompanied by the Royal British Legion Band and Corps of Drums Romford. In January 2014, he commentated on the Channel 4 TV programme The Jump, where 12 famous people took part in winter sports. As part of each episode, Edwards jumped off the largest of 3 ski jumps. In the same year he appeared as a guest on the ITV2 comedy show Fake Reaction. In 2017 he returned to the ski jumping facilities at Canada Olympic Park, where he took part in the Olympics in 1988, to make some jumps that were his first in over 15 years. Biopic. A film chronicling the life story of Edwards had been planned by Irish director Declan Lowney since 2007. Comedian Steve Coogan was originally chosen for the title role. Edwards was said to be pleased with the choice, but also joked that Brad Pitt or Tom Cruise would be better suited for the role. In 2009, Lowney announced that Rupert Grint would instead play the part. The film was scheduled to begin production once Grint completed work on Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and Part 2, but it did not go ahead. On the 23rd of December 2014, it was reported that Gary Barlow was in talks to write the entire soundtrack for the film. On the 23rd of January 2015, it was reported that Edwards might perform the stunts in the movie about his life. Matthew Vaughn produced and Dexter Fletcher directed the biopic, starring Taron Egerton as Edwards and Hugh Jackman as his trainer. The film, Eddie the Eagle, was released in early 2016. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?